Not everything is science. We have people and we have emotions and we have the social context within which we're having to try and work. So understanding that, very different social contexts, say in South Africa or in India, compared to what we're used to in the West, you need someone to come in and actually force you to think about that more intelligently. I'm researching fires in informal settlements. So informal settlements are communities that are built up very organically and usually made of constructions which are not very robust in terms of their construction materials or kind of the fire safety that we look at. We're looking specifically at how fires develop and spread within those sort of areas. There was a fire in Imazama Yetu where around 2,500 homes were destroyed in a single fire. The amount of damage and lost livelihood is just an immense amount of people being displaced and having to rebuild their lives. Here at Edinburgh, we definitely try and look at the whole range, the whole holistic idea of fire safety. So this is not just looking at the fire chemistry and how fire develop and the dynamics of fire, but also how people interact with fire. So it's understanding their responses, how people can mitigate their own risk, but also what other people can do to help mitigate that risk. So if we can understand what's going on at a fundamental level and a social level, then we can take that and use that information to improve the lives of these people and their safety. So the data that we're gathering, not just from our experimental work, but from our survey work and our interviews with the people of influence within these communities, we're trying to bring this all together to provide essentially risk maps for the city to say, these are the areas which we have identified as being potentially high risk. That will hopefully allow both the communities and the city to have that conversation around those areas about how they might manage to improve the resilience against fire. Statistics show that if you're on the lower economic spectrum, that you're at higher risk of death and injury within fire within the UK and also within South Africa. So there are lots of parallels there. Grenfell, that was a social housing block where there wasn't enough money spent on the maintenance and upkeep of the building. That puts those people's lives at risk. That's essentially what we're trying to understand, both in South Africa and also within the UK, how we can better protect everybody, not just those with the money to spend on the fancy fire safety strategies.